I'm going to describe to you a method that good readers use when they read a book. So, I kind of made up the method, so there's not a technical name for it. So I took the liberty and made one up myself. It's called Analytical Situational Character Connection. So the first part of the method is to analyze the situation and or environment that is being described in the book. So when you read the book, look for details such as social norms in the environment, how do people act, how does it look, how is it described as. The better that you become familiarized with the situation, the better you'll be off for the method and the end product. So in the book, A Good Scent from a Strange Mountain, it takes place in the U.S. with Vietnamese immigrants, and takes place after the Vietnam War, and Vietnamese immigrants, specifically in Louisiana, have been surrounded by the American culture, and we have two characters in this short story called Crickets. One is named Ted, he's the father, and Bill is the son. Ted, he's still clinging to his old heritage of Vietnam, and he likes his heritage, his culture, while his son Bill has adopted many of the American culture ideals because he's been born there, such as the language by saying "see y'all later," which is customary in the South. And that's our situation for this short story. The second part of the method is to analyze the characters that are being described in the book. So as you read the book, look for details such as the characters' feelings and or emotions, the actions the characters take, the third-person descriptions of the characters, and most importantly, the situation and or environment that the characters are in. So in my book, Ted is trying to teach his son Bill an old game that Ted used to play in Vietnam. And Ted focuses on this game because this is part of his heritage, part of what he did in Vietnam, while Bill is not so much interested in it. And as they try to get the game going, Bill kind of scuffs his shoes on some mud, and he's really worried about the shoes being dirty, so he goes inside, while Ted is still outside looking for Crickets to make this game happen, because he's really attached to his old heritage, and he likes this game a lot. So, the third part of this method and the last part is, after you have a really good feel for your situation and or environment and your characters, you want to connect the details that you've figured out from both and make a connection between the two. So the story that I've been using, Crickets, we can infer that since Bill has adopted a lot of American culture, and American culture is described as materialistic, we can infer that Bill has become materialistic because he's really obsessed with his shoes and keeping them clean and making sure that they're not dirty and they look good, which is a very materialistic thing to do. And Ted is, we can infer, is still hooked onto his old heritage because he's still out there looking for the Crickets to complete this game, while his son has no care in the world for the game, and the only reason Ted started it was for his son. So we can tell that he really wants to keep the game going and play the game just like he did in Vietnam. So that's the connections that you can make between characters and situations when you know them well enough. And the picture that I used to show this, I'm not sure if you can see it the best, but it's a picture of the bees on a honeycomb. And the honeycomb is meant to represent the situation in the book. It's in the bees. It's a situation of home, so bees feel relaxed around it, and the bees are obviously the characters. And as they are on the honeycomb, they're relaxed. They're not swarming people. This is just how they act in their situation. They're very calm and relaxed, and they deposit their pollen into the honeycomb to make the honey, which is what they do in their situation. That's their job. That's how they act. And that kind of represents the method. So that's it.